Go.
Well, you thought you could get rid of us that easy, huh? Well, guess what? When it comes to college football and the sport that we love, there is no off season. There's no rain, there's no sleet, there's no snow that will stop us because it is now officially the 2025 off season and we've got you covered here. So, sit back, enjoy your popcorn, enjoy your hamburger, get you a soda, get you a Gatorade, whatever you prefer beverage is because the 2025 off season is just beginning, and me and Jackson are going to guide you through it. And it starts tonight with the most crucial part of the off season, and that's the 2025 transfer portal updates. Talking about some of the biggest moves of the year and how this could impact 2025 and beyond. You never know how long this could impact the team. Carson Beck to Miami, Miller Moss to Louisville, the Branch brothers. How's our individual teams doing? We're going to talk about all that tonight on our transfer portal update. But I'm for talk with Austin as usual, and I could not do this, and I could not do this off season program without my partner, my Batman, my brother from another mother, Jackson Johnson of the Jacksonian, my co-host as always. Jackson, how are you? And happy off season.
I'm doing pretty good. I'm just counting down to the 2025 college football season. I can't wait for it to come already. I mean, I know 2024 just ended with the national title, but that doesn't mean the countdown can't begin. Matter of fact,
It's true.
where you're at, it's 205 days till week 0, 210 days till week 1 Thursday night, and 212 days till week 1 Saturday, 213 days till the Miami Notre Dame matchup, Virginia Tech South Carolina, and 214 days till Labor Day.
hmm Yeah, and as soon as the national title's over, Jackson, we go right into the off season. And it doesn't stop until we kick off week 0. Doesn't stop until then. So it's gonna be wild, but we're here for it. And speaking of wild though, Jackson, that is what the transfer portal is. I mean, it's always wild. But one of the most shocking moves, well, maybe not so shocking, but maybe had a little bit of after he declared for the NFL draft, he decided, I think I'll come back, but not to Georgia. That's right. The headliner, Carson Beck transferring to Miami. Who would have thunk it? Jackson, I what do you think about this move? Good, bad?
It's a
What are you
real
thinking?
scary move. Um, I want to see if it could be like Kyle McCord to Syracuse. That's going to be my question there.
Well, and the thing with this Jackson move is obviously Carson Beck, who had entered the draft after he had a season-ending injury, of course, and then out of the blue, he decides to come back. And a lot of critics even said that they didn't think Carson Beck was pro ready to begin with. Because Jackson, you've seen the year he had at Georgia, right?
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't one of his finest years. He was a turnover monger, so to speak. But Georgia's so darn good and talented that Carson Beck could throw 3 to 4 interceptions and it not affect him at all. I mean, think about it, Jackson. The Florida game, he didn't play so hot in that game, and they still found a way to win that game. Alabama, even though he threw those picks, they still almost won that game. Like, now he's going to a situation in Miami, Jackson, where their defense last year, to say the least, was poorest. And I can speak to that more than just about anybody because we played Miami and I've watched a lot of the Canes. So my question is, how much of that is Carson Beck going to be able to get away with at Miami?
Well, I mean, I hope his attitude will be better than like Cam Ward's at the Pop Tarts Bowl. But I mean, Miami seems like the place to be if you're a guy that's transferring. Like, in particular, we saw Cam Ward going from Washington State and Miami. He had a pretty good season. Carson Beck didn't have a good 2024 season, but still, we're going to wait and see what happens, especially when Miami plays Notre Dame in week 1. And we're going to see what happens against Florida in week 4. And then we're going to see what he could do against Florida State on the first Saturday of October. I mean, I'll be real with you. I like that Miami, Florida State's on my birth week, but at the same time, I'm not too crazy about not being on November, but that's a whole nother story for another day.
And, to dissect this a little more, like, Jackson, what do you think the main reasons is? Why do you think he did decide to go to Miami? Like, why do you think he would leave Georgia? You think it was more they were like, time for you to go? Or what do you think led him to leave Miami?
I think, honestly, he felt like he was being pushed out by Gunnar Stockton. I think that's part of it. But money. There you go.
Money, yeah. That's true. Money, yes, money. And also, he's in love, I guess, which all kudos to him.
That's the number one reason. His girlfriend's a cheerleader at Miami. And honestly, I don't even think it would have made a difference. I mean, his girlfriend could have been at Cambodia, and he'd have gone to University of Cambodia.
That might be a little extreme, though, Jack. That might be a little extreme, but I'll say this, Jackson.
I mean, playing dudes are like that. They go wherever their girlfriend or their wife goes. So there you go.
I'll say this. I'll say this, though. I hope for Carson Beck it works out for him, and I hope his relationship works out for him. And hopefully he has a happy, fulfilled life. And last thing I'll say is, Jackson, I know it's way too early, but is Miami still a playoff team with Carson Beck? Like I know the rosters have still got to shape out, but with Carson Beck at quarterback, can he lead the Canes to the playoffs? Are they still a playoff team?
So much Carson Beck, in my opinion. It's Mario Cristobal. Because we look at Mario Cristobal, teams have always been winning games they shouldn't have and lost games they shouldn't have under Cristobal. For instance, this year, they shouldn't have lost to Georgia Tech, Syracuse, but they did. And, 2021, Oregon shouldn't have beaten Ohio State. Then a few weeks later, they shouldn't have lost Stanford. They're weird like that. And I had a discussion with one person on the Miami side, and he's like, well, every coach does that. Every coach does that. And I'm like, I'm telling you right now, you're going to get tired of this eventually. You're going to get tired of this coming up short. And I'm not expecting 8 national titles from this thing. I just want to see if Miami can end the conference title drought. That is the ACC title drought. Because since they joined in 2004, they have not won the conference. And that's going to be the question there. Can they get this done in 2025? Can they finally slay the dragon that is the ACC? I mean, I don't know why, but I feel like, it doesn't matter who's the quarterback. As long as they got Mario Cristobal, they'll win those games they shouldn't, like, say, Notre Dame and Florida. They'll win those games. Everybody put the cart in before the horse. Oh, well, they dominated the AC. They're going to dominate the AC. Oh, they beat an SC team. Oh, whatever. I want to see what they can do the rest of the regular season. And next thing we know, they'll lose to an SMU or like Virginia Tech or Pitt. Because what do they all have in common? They're road games. And what happens at Pitt? Dreams go to die at Pitt. Austin, you know what that's like.
Oh, Jackson, you had to remind me. I'll say this on Carson Beck before we move on to our next one in line here. I'll say this. Like you said, like it's way too early to be making like any kind of like bold predictions, like Miami's gonna win the ACC or anything like that. I think with Carson Beck at quarterback, they should at least be a borderline top 25 team at least, if not top 20. But we'll have to see. But this next quarterback here, Jackson, John Mayer, Mater, I think is how you say it. Yeah, Mayer, transferred out of Washington State and is now coming to Oklahoma. Brent Venables has now got him a little bit of a quarterback competition. Is it going to be Michael Hawkins Jr. or is it going to be John Mayer? What you think, Jackson?
John Mayer. It's John Mayer all the way. I mean, this
you
kid,
think so?
I know so. This kid is going to make magic for Oklahoma. I mean, he had a pretty good season at Washington State, and he didn't just come by himself. He came with offensive coordinator Ben Arbuckle. And the fact of the matter is, I think Oklahoma is planning on having a huge 2025 and a huge 2026 with this young man, because it says here he's a redshirt sophomore, so he's probably going to be there for another couple years. If he does very well, then he could be a top quarterback in the 2027 NFL draft. And he knew that, unfortunately, he's not going to get a lot of looks if he's at Washington State. I mean, that's the sad reality. But we don't know the future of Washington State athletics. I mean, yeah, they're going to – yeah, I mean, they're still in the Pac-12 for 2025 and beyond, and the Pac-12 is basically like the Conference USA of now and the WAC from 2012. That's what the Pac-12 is becoming. I mean,
yeah.
It's more like the Big East from 2005 to 2012.
I'll say this, Jackson. I think Brent Venables, knowing the kind of coach he is, I think he'll, when spring camp comes around and we have spring games and stuff, I think he's definitely going to have both quarterbacks, Hawkins Jr. and Mayer, both battle for the job. Like, I don't think he's going to appoint one or the other because they both add something different. Mater's got the strong arm, the pocket presence, the ability to deliver a ball on time and on target. Whereas Hawkins Jr. is more of your scrambler, kind of create on the run, Lamar Jackson, kind of Kyler Murray-esque kind of quarterback. Whereas Mater's kind of like your Bo Nix, your Drew Brees type quarterback, where he just stands in, he's got a strong arm, and he's built for it. But, and here's the thing too, Jackson, a lot of this is like on Brent Venables too. Like, Jackson, this almost seems like a move. If he doesn't make this move, he's almost in 2025 could be coaching for his job. And he realizes that, hey, I need to make these moves. I need to have me a quarterback. I need to have me an OC because they're ready to throw me out on a rail. Like prompto.
Oh, yeah. I think, yeah, because, I mean, we're looking at what Lucas Hill has to say. John Mater's OC is at Oklahoma with him. He's such an incredible talent. Problem is the wide receiver room. Mater's the guy. Mike Hawkins will only see the field during garbage time. Agreed.
That is true. I don't disagree with Lucas on that point, but Mike Hawkins Jr. does have that extra to him, the scrambling ability that sometimes can be a glimmer in a coach's eye. That sometimes make you think, okay, he's got a little something he can improvise. But like you said, though, Jackson, he wouldn't have done this if he would have thought Hawkins Jr. was the guy. So you got me there. And like we've mentioned, Jackson, if Oklahoma doesn't beat your Crimson Tide, Brent Venables is under a whole lot more stress than he is right now.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's no doubt. I mean, it would have been a lobbying session as to whether he would be coaching 2025.
Yeah.
But luckily, we're going to see what Mater's made of in 2025, especially with the easy start they have to their 2025 season. Because, I mean, yeah, they got Michigan coming, but that's in Norman. Yeah, they got Auburn, but again, that's in Norman. But Auburn can't usually win the big road games, usually. And
Jackson, you got to throw your little digs at Auburn in there.
I'm just saying what I've seen from Auburn so far. But, however, they seem to be doing on the transfer portal so far. Because they got a top 5 receiver from Georgia Tech. And, man, if Georgia Tech and Auburn were playing, oh, man, that would be – it would get heated even more. Because, I mean, they used to be like an old rivalry in college football. But that would get things going. And, we saw this, like, Austin, you've seen a little bit of Georgia Tech, a lot more than everybody else has. Tell us what you see from Eric Singleton Jr.
So, Singleton Jr., I like him. Like, I've watched a lot of his games, of course, being Georgia Tech, and his tape, of course. I like what he brings to the table. He's a physical receiver. He can make contested catches. And he's a guy that garners attention. Like he's a good number 2 / a good 3 on a elite to championship team, but on a team like Georgia Tech, he's a really good number 1. And like he's one of those guys. Like he complements the scheme that Georgia Tech was running with Haynes King, and he was the one who made the catch in, I believe, the 6th overtime against Georgia that ended up tying the game and sending it to the 7th overtime. He's a guy that's always came up big for Georgia Tech. He burned Louisville a couple times this year. And the year before when we played him, he burned us a couple times. And that's the thing about him. I think Auburn is going to like what they get in return from him. He's physical, he's big, but he can run routes and he can do it with the best of them. He just doesn't get the appreciation because he's at Georgia Tech. I really like him, and that's no ACC bias at all. If you watch his tape, you'll really like what you see on that tape.
Oh, yeah.
And Jackson, I don't know how much you've seen of him, but what are your thoughts of him? If you've seen any of him at all.
Well, he brings a lot of magic, but I do wonder if Auburn can do more than have a sits and sit season with the portal additions that they're getting. And I'm not saying it be mean to them. I genuinely want to see what they can do for 2025, because especially with it being the 3rd year of the Hugh Freeze era.
And Jason O says, was Singleton that little fast guy that Georgia Tech had? He's good if that's the guy I'm thinking of. Yes, that's the one. He's little, but he's like, he looks like on the TV, he looks like he's built big. Now, that may be the pads and stuff, but that's the one, Jason O. Oh, the one that you're thinking of. Yes, he's fast. Like Georgia Tech used to throw him a lot of screens. Like he tore us up in the 2023 game. Like we couldn't stop him. And B Bean says Action Jackson and Steve Austin. Hey, I'll take it. Like if I'm Steve Austin, hey, one of the greatest wrestlers of all the time, I'll take it.
That's funny, Jason O.
Well, here's the thing.
Not me.
See, here's the thing. And Jackson can speak to this more, but Auburn, I get. What is the attraction with Auburn, Jackson? You're the SC guy here. Help me out.
Jordan
what does
Hare.
he see in Auburn?
They got Jordan Hare, and I got nothing for him.
We're sorry, Jason. We're trying to figure that out ourselves, I guess, while we're
But
on
in all
air here.
seriousness, though, it's a good school, and with the right coach, they can win some huge games. And they got a pretty good football culture over at Auburn. But
Yes,
we'll
and
wait
a
and
chance,
see. Huh?
not to cut you off, Jackson, but a chance to play bigger games, like to
Yeah.
play Alabama's, your Georgias, and to play your Missouris, to play the bigger games, Texas. At Georgia Tech, you're playing the Louisvilles, the Miamis, Boston College, Virginia.
Yeah. Let's see, though. Huh. I didn't
Jason
know.
knows that On Three says that UGA and Ole Miss offered. Yeah, if
Yep.
that's the case, yeah, Jackson, explain that one to me.
I guess Georgia and Ole Miss thought they were going to get a top-notch receiver in Singleton. I mean, Ole Miss, Georgia, it's kind of like, come on, you're betraying Georgia Tech for Georgia. Come on.
Mm-hmm. I'll say this, Jackson, and these next two, we kind of lump them in together. But Georgia did get two explosive wide receivers and some special teamers. So once those moves happen, maybe that's what swayed his decision. And we're talking about the Branch brothers, Zion and Zachariah. And here's the thing, Georgia, they got two really good players, especially Zachariah.
Oh,
Like, if you watched USC much, which if you're on the West Coast, that was probably one of the only few games on, and of course we watched them. But Zachariah Branch is a guy with lightning quick speed who could bust a game open within a snap of his fingers. We've seen him do it. Punt returns, kickoff returns. He's done that before. He did it against San Jose last year. If you remember, San Jose was only within a touchdown. Zachariah Branch takes it almost 90 yards on the kickoff return. And then USC 2 plays later scores. Punt return, he did against San Jose in that game too. He had one return for a touchdown, I believe, against Utah. That's what Georgia is getting. They're getting that. And Georgia's offense at times has gone in a slump. And he is he is someone that when you need a life of energy, he's there for you. And his brother, he's like that too, but I think Zachariah is right now is the better product of the two. But Georgia's getting two really good players. They're fast, they're quick. And I don't know if Georgia will use them much as receivers or if they'll use them more as special teamers. You'll have to think that they'll use them as receivers because why else would you bring that in? And you could put them on a streak, and I'm sure they would burn any of the corners. But Jackson could speak to it more than I can with Georgia.
yeah. Because this is a huge addition for the Bulldogs. They're going to be really happy to have Mr. Branch on. This is going to be great for him. It's A+ right there. Huge loss
Yeah, they got
USC though, and I gotta say that's going to get Lincoln Riley in a lot of trouble.
With Jackson, they got both the Branch brothers, Zion and Zachariah. They got a 2-for-1 out of it.
Yep, 2 for the price of 1.
And A. Schwab is here, and he says, how many bad seasons do you think Kirby would have to get fired?
It would have to be really bad. Like,
yeah,
really and truly bad. Like,
it would have to be like 3-9 2 years in a row.
Nah, it'd be more like 8-4.
Yeah, Troy V even said, what defines a bad season for Georgia? 9-3.
Yeah, that's what Mark Richt got fired for.
Like Alabama, 9-3, which y'all had this year, 9-4. Y'all ready to throw your coach out the window? Like y'all were like, but we want you gone, DeBoer, which as we know, Jackson, your fan base is nuts. But
Oh, yeah.
to his point, 9-3 probably. Or no, like
That
you
was
said,
some
no.
that was just some crazy old ladies painting their nails red, wanting to throw out Kalen DeBoer.
And yeah, Kirby's buyout's ridiculous.
Yep. I
don't-
agree, A. Schwab.
Yes, that's an insane buyout. That's more than Jimbo Fisher could ever dream of. And yeah, and Hummus is here as well. Mr. Hummus is here as well. The Buckeye himself. He says Kirby isn't getting fired unless a scandal happens. Even then, they wouldn't fire him. He's
Yeah,
done too much good.
Oh yeah. I mean, ending that national title drought, boom.
Exactly. I mean, it's just one of them. It's like, even, yeah, if Kirby has a scandal to buyout, yeah, this is true. Yeah, and when you win national titles, you get paid.
Oh yeah, like
Okay.
a really bad scandal.
This is true. This is true.
Like something that Penn State was covering up in the 2000s and the 90s with Jerry Sandusky, and the Baylor situation with Art Briles combined. Like that bad.
And B Bean says these contracts have morals clauses. I didn't know that, but that's good to know, B Bean. That is good to know.
Anywho,
Anywho,
how are you feeling about Damon Wilson?
going to Missouri, some people may look at it like a lateral move. I mean, what do you think, Jackson? You're more the SEC guy than I am. You speak to the SEC ones. What
I'm
do you
gonna be
think of
honest.
this?
I'm curious to see what's going to result in Missouri, because I mean, just because you get somebody from Georgia doesn't automatically mean you're going to the playoffs. But we'll definitely have to see what it means for Missouri, because I mean, like, this season was kind of sloppy. This didn't feel like a 9-10 win season they had.
No, they kind of stumbled down the finish line.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I
But
mean, their wins were sloppy, their losses were terrible. And I'm going to be honest, I want to see what they bring against Kansas in week 2 and South Carolina in week 4. But spoiler alert, I'm pulling for Kansas.
well, Jackson, speaking of
Oh God,
speaking
Mel
of
Tucker. Oh my God. Oh my God.
speaking of morals, Jackson, we got to talk about this one. Florida State hit a big transfer, but Deuce Robinson transfers from USC and he's going to Florida State. And Jackson, Deuce Robinson, I kind of like him. I'm kind of jealous that he's going to Florida State, because he was in talks to go to Louisville with Miller Moss, which we'll get to Miller Moss here in just a second when we get to him. But I would have loved to had Deuce Robinson, because he was the one who made the big catch, one-handed juggling grab against LSU that many people consider the catch of the year. Now, Florida State's quarterback situation, that's where we'll see how good Deuce Robinson can perform with that. Jackson, I know you and Florida State have had a love-hate relationship here lately. What do you think of Deuce Robinson going to Florida State? Does it help him any, or is
think it
Florida
does.
State?
It does. And as Jay Snow says, Norvell loves his tall wide receivers. I want to see what the Seminoles can do in 2025. I mean, the best part about being down is the way to go is up. That is the way it goes.
Yeah, and Jason Hall also says he's tall, but we'll see how he does. He is tall, which will be to his benefit. He'll probably get thrown a lot of jump balls in the end zone, which I'm kind of curious to, like I said, to see Florida State's QB situation and how they build their O line. Like Florida State's kind of got to hit the reset button, and hopefully they stop saying we're gonna leave you, ACC, we're gonna leave you. Like it's over, it's done. Put your hankies away. Let's put the big boy britches on and let's go play some football. Are you done venting, Florida State?
Yeah. It's like you've had your cigarette, you've had your wine at the porch. I mean, now you got to get back on the field. And 2025 is going to be a better year.
And Hummus says it's crazy that USC is losing these good wide receivers, but they still have the best ones on the roster staying. Yeah, I think a product of it, too, Hummus, could be the fact of they're like, okay, we're not winning as much as we want here, and we really like a lot of the receivers that did leave, like Miller Moss, like Deuce Robinson. I know him and Miller Moss were pretty good buddies. And the Branch brothers, they really liked Moss. So once Lincoln Riley kind of made that decision, that might have been the undoing of all that as well. And plus the turnover as well and the way their season went. It could be a part of it. But like you said, they still got some of the best ones staying.
Well, and Jay Snow brings up a good point about one of the other transfer additions is that Thomas Castellanos for Boston College has joined Florida State. So that's going to help plenty.
Yeah. Yes. Castellanos, yes. I'll say this.
If you can't beat them, get them.
I mean, this is true. I like Castellanos. I hope he does well, but we'll see.
I mean, this kid, he had some shades of Fran Tarkenton on one play that he was making. Like, my God. It was like Fran Tarkenton and Patrick Mahomes having a baby, and it's raised by Archie Manning. That's how awesome that play was.
I'm disturbed, Jackson.
Well, it's a figure of speech.
I'm still disturbed, Jackson, that you just thought of that. But moving on. And Hummus Hero says Deuce would have played because his size adds a different element, but Lemming and Lane are just better receivers than Branch. This is true. This is very much true. But here's another one, Jackson, which obviously, no shock. Purdue to Oregon. I mean, you got to get out of that hellhole known as Purdue anyway. I mean, sorry, Purdue fans, but you're a dung heap right now. Pardon my language.
Well, I think Barry Odom will fix it. I mean, he's just shaking the trail dust off of the Ryan Walters era.
This right here, Jackson, I'm jealous. KC Concepcion to Texas A&M. I
Kevin.
like KC. It's KC. Is it Kevin or KC?
Kevin.
Then why are they calling KC then? Never mind. They call him KC. Like, that's why I could say Kevin Concepcion then, if being proper. I'm jealous of A&M. Then I'm jealous of them, Jackson. They got a really, really good receiver. He was NC State's do-it-all guy. And when you watch NC State, he was sometimes their entire offense. He had a couple games where he had like 10 catches for over 100 yards. And this is with the roundabouts at quarterback, the merry-go-round of quarterbacks. And the fact that he was still able to do that and still be an all-ACC player, like Texas A&M's got them a studded receiver. He could play slot. He could play outside. And you could put him play him a little bit at running back. Like they didn't do it too much in NC State, but they did put him in like these trickery packages. Like they got a complete package with Concepcion. I like what they, and this is only going to help A&M because Mike Elko likes to run the ball, and with him having that style of offense, now having a receiver that can take the lid off of defense, I already like Elko at A&M, but he just made a money move.
There we go.
What do you think, Jackson? Do you think this will help A&M? Are you liking the move, or
we'll wait and see. I want to see if A&M can become a playoff team first.
That's fair. That's fair.
Oh, agreed.
Yes,
I just want to see how long he stays at North Carolina. I mean, that stuff about him saying, "I always wanted to coach North Carolina." What a load of horse dung! It's just a bunch of horse dung. That is a PR response if I ever heard one.
Jackson, you're not buying it, huh?
And plus, he's got a good agent. I mean, look at the contract where from January to May 31st, if Belichick wanted to leave for the NFL, he has to pay a $10 million buyout. But starting on June 1st of this year, he's got to pay $1 million buyout. No problem.
Mm-hmm. And Jackson, A&M's been busy in the portal receiver-wise because they got another one coming.
Oh, yeah.
Coming from Texas Tech, Micah Hutchinson.
Yep, Micah Hudson.
They're getting busy, Jackson, in the portal. Better look out. Here comes A&M. They're getting it done.
Yep. I mean, we're going to wait.
But also, I'm glad Mike Elko is upgrading at receiver, though. At least he's not relaxing on his laurels and trying to be like, the run game, we'll win with that. At least he's trying to compliment his quarterback. But A&M's on the move.
We don't know where Coogan's going, but we'll wait and see.
Yep. Yeah, we may be back for round 2 on some of these. So be on the lookout for round 2 later on after it gets finalized.
Oh, Oregon got a steal.
Mm-hmm. Out of Tulane.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think of it, Jackson?
Good addition. Especially to run it back for 2025. Nebraska's getting a nice little edge rusher.
Mm-hmm, yep. Nebraska upgrading the defense, one of their strong suits.
There we go. Washington's getting it done. Jed Fish is taken from the Arizona cupboard.
And Moose says Coogan is going to Michigan. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So, well, Jackson is on 3, correct, Jackson?
Correct.
So they haven't updated it yet, or they haven't made it official. But Moose is our Michigan man, so I will trust whatever Moose says. If he's going to Michigan, by God, you better believe it.
There it is. Clayton Sayfie from On Threes, the Wolverine, is talking about Coogan scheduling his Michigan visit. You're right, good buddy. And
yep.
We're going. Dadgummit. Here we go. Ole Miss is competing for him. Real? Yeah, okay. I mean, I guess Ole Miss thinks they're gonna get him.
Yep, and from what Moose is hearing, from what he's got, it's between Michigan and Indiana. Oh, okay. You go, Indiana. You might not win the battle, but you go, Indiana.
There you go. Go and get him.
And A-Schwab says we were like one wide receiver tight end away from being loaded. Yeah, that's what I've heard from the Michigan people I've been watching. So we'll have to see.
Well, I'll say this though: it's always a good idea to always make sure to consume all the information from everybody.
Yeah, especially when it comes to transfer portal time, Jackson. My goodness, how many times have people pulling out and then pull back in? But
Well, Tacario Davis looks like a good addition for Washington. I wonder what kind
mhm.
of year we'll see for Washington 2025. I mean, they look like they're poised to have a good season.
I mean, well, Jackson. I mean, they kind of took the TCU route a little bit. They took a huge step down after going to the national title game, and they kind of took a big step down. Like, which any step after not winning the whole thing is a step down, but they took like a big giant step down. Like they fell down the steps and now trying to pull themselves back up.
Well,
But we'll see. We'll see what the future holds for the Huskies.
Dane Key, another great addition by Nebraska.
Yeah, Nebraska's loading up on defense and receivers. They're loading
Oh,
up,
oh yeah.
and the way Kentucky's been going, where they've been on the little downtrend, I could see why Key would want to go to Nebraska. Ooh,
Prince Will going to Ole Miss.
that's from what I hear, Jackson. Prince Will is a big gift for the Rebels, and I've heard, especially from our guy Justin Adams, he's a little upset that Prince Will is leaving his Cornhuskers because he was a nice player to have.
Well, I'll say this: I'm curious to see what Ole Miss is going to do in 2025. I mean, yeah, they got
They got
LSU coming to their backyard,
they
and
got to figure out what they're going to do at quarterback.
oh, exactly. But I mean, they got that easy non-con schedules, which I mean, they chickened out at a USC home and home, which I mean, you cheated us out. They massacred our boy. That is the headlines of Lane Kiffin goes back to LA. USC goes against their old coach, Lane Kiffin. We were robbed of those headlines.
Well, Jackson, when they get in conference play, they'll probably lose to Kentucky or something again, and then Lane Kiffin will be fussing again.
Ugh, my God. Like that was just so stupid to cancel the home and home. It was just so dumb. Like we could have had the week one matchup in at the LA Coliseum. And to be fair, I think USC would have won against Ole Miss.
Jackson, don't let the Ole Miss people hear you say that.
Wow.
But
Not too much, I won't. But a nice addition, like a hidden gem from California named Fernando Mendoza.
oh, now you like what's coming out of Cal, huh? Mm-hmm.
I like this guy.
And for anybody that's not in on our joke, me and Jackson had a bit of a tit for tat over whether Cal was a good team or not. So we finally settled on mediocre. But bad manners, though, Jackson. Go
It
for
was
it.
a debate over whether Cal was considered a good win. We were fussing over because it was because of the fact that College Game Day went to Cal Miami for week 6. And I was like, just because College Game Day goes to your town does not mean that's a huge win. I mean, the only reason why they even went to Cal Miami was because of the fact that they didn't really have any big games that week. And they were like, oh, we never go to Cal, so we're just gonna be like, here. We're just going there. I think they kind of just play darts, honestly.
They'll be like, let's just go to Cal. They've never had a game day. Let's be nice to them. And we get to show off Miami.
Oh man. And Miami had a comeback victory against Cal. Oh man, it's like,
But I do got to say this though, Jackson. What are you thinking of the job Kurt Signetti's doing
oh,
in the
he's
transfer portal and
nobody,
recruiting?
nobody could win at Indiana until Kurt Signetti. I mean, yeah, Terry Donahue, like he was a major exception, but like we're seeing the magic that Signetti's doing. This is gonna be a continuing recurrence from Indiana. I'm loving what they're doing, and they got that same easy schedule in 2025. And reason why I don't go hard on Indiana is because they're not a blue blood. I only go hard on schools that are blue bloods and schools that are usually playoff contenders for not having tougher non-college schedules. But like once we see Indiana winning on a more regular basis, then I'll start to get a little tougher on them, get a little more strict on them.
Well, and I'll say this too. What do you think of this move to get Mendoza Jackson? Do you think he's an upgrade from Curtis Fork, or because does this feel like a move? Like, do you feel like Indiana's playoff window is still open?
Oh yeah.
So, do you like this move, Jackson, or
Absolutely.
do you think? Well, because I know from watching Mendoza, he has his moments, and the thing I will say about him is he's also turnover prone. Do you think Signetti can cure some of that?
I think he can. I mean, especially when he's got the same staff returning for 2025.
And that's the thing too, Jackson. I mean, we'll have to see. And like Moose says, Moose even says, and it's now easier to make the CFP except teams have cupcake schedules. Yeah.
Don't even remind me.
Yeah, Jackson will go on a whole nother hour rant about how everyone should schedule Power 5 opponents, especially if you're a blue blood. So,
oh yeah, blue bloods and playoff contenders need to do better about having tougher schedules, because I mean, like this way, it like even outs the field a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're having easy schedules for everybody, where everybody has cupcakes, you're going to see a lot of 11-1 teams or unbeaten teams, and you're really going to have a conundrum. But moving on.
Mm-hmm. And Jason O says Indiana has 3 almost guaranteed losses next year: Oregon, Iowa, and Penn State. I'll say Oregon and Penn State for sure. I think Iowa will be a dogfight because it's Iowa. Like,
you're forgetting one other conference game, Austin.
What's that?
Illinois.
Well, no, I'm referencing Jason O's comment. He's thinking that those are what he's predicting will be Indiana's 3 losses. And here's the thing. Oregon, Penn State, I think we can almost mark off as the 2. And I know you brought up Illinois, Jackson. I think Iowa and Illinois, Indiana could regress to 8-4. I mean, it's going to be something for sure. Like, I could see them losing Iowa, yes, but I could also see them pummeling Iowa, like Hummus says, because it is Iowa. Iowa has been known to do some mysterious things at the worst times. Yes, and Hummus even says Indiana actually returns quite a bit on defense. I believe Aiden Fisher, who is a all Big Ten player, I believe he's coming back. He was our leading tackler. I think he's coming back next year, and he was the heart and soul of that defense. So I will say See, but it'll be interesting. Troy says, I have seen Indiana play, but I think they are, if they are any good, Iowa is beatable. Agreed.
Oh yeah,
And
I mean,
Hummus agrees with you. Go for it,
yeah,
Jackson.
yeah. I was gonna say like Illinois and Iowa; those are pretty tough games. Like, because I mean, we're seeing some magic from Brett Bielema, what he's creating in Champaign, and the fact of the matter is, when you're a ranked top 25 team going to Connect Stadium, that's always ugly. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
that's the point about Iowa being rough. So it's like, you know what? I'm gonna put that on a. I'm already just thinking about what I'm gonna put on parlay sheets for August and September.
Mm-hmm. And Hummus says, unless Iowa is on the road at night, then it's likely a loss. Which they are playing at Iowa, correct, Jackson?
Yeah.
We'll have to see if it's a night game. I mean, depending on what week they play, it might be on NBC at night. So we'll have to see.
Well, I wonder what time we'll see like Penn State, Oregon be played for week 5 because be honest, that's same day as Penn State, Oregon, and we're gonna be having like USC, Illinois, Ohio State, Washington.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like,
Which speaking of losses, though, Jackson, Oklahoma took a hit. Nick
yeah,
Anderson going to LSU. Oh, that's a rough loss.
oof, yikes.
Like Jackson, he was the one receiver that I was gushing over when the transfer portal opened and he declared. I was hoping Jeff Brom would go after him because I really like Nick Anderson. He was the guy who caught the game-winning touchdown against Texas 2 years ago. I mean, last year. Yeah, last year he caught it from Gabriel in the back of the end zone. Like he was the one, Jackson, that a lot of people thought he could be a sneaky round 6, round 5, 4-ish draft pick in the NFL if he decided to go. And I mean, where's this leave Oklahoma, Jackson? They were already depleted at receiver last year. I mean, and let me
Yeah.
ask you something, Jackson. How much does this help LSU? Because they're already going to have a talented receiver room. This just adds to it.
Well, and LSU seems to be doing very well in the transfer portal, and they're making sure Garrett Nussmeier has plenty of toys to play with. Because I mean,
Mm-hmm.
they're getting Nick Anderson from Oklahoma, Barry Brown from Kentucky on this
Mm-hmm.
net player list, and I got to tell you though, will it translate to something more for LSU, more than what they're getting? Because if LSU
Mm-hmm.
does not have a really good season in 2025, if they don't make it to the playoffs, I can guarantee you, you're going to see Brian Kelly on a humongous hot seat for 2026.
Yeah, Jackson. It seems like LSU's going all in this year. Like that, they're like this. We've got to put something together, or else this could be it. Like you said, Brian Kelly could be on his last dance.
Yeah. Because I mean, you cannot be losing 3 games in a row like you did in 2024. You know,
Mm-hmm.
where you got smacked on the face of the earth at Kyle Field, and you let yourself get smacked by Alabama, and you lose by double digits to Florida. I mean, it's not like you're going against Danny Warfel of Florida or anything. I mean, you're going against a pitiful Florida team. And I mean, even in their 2023 season where Daniels was winning the Heisman, they got smacked by Florida State, lost a good game against Alabama, and of course, lost a tight one to Ole Miss, which basically made a difference to see who's going to go near Sitz Bowl that year. And you know, they
Mm-hmm.
lost a tight one. They almost lost a tight one to Arkansas, and had it not been for their QB play against Missouri, they'd have lost. And same with Florida. because the defense was horrendous. So let's see if LSU can have a really good season in 2025. Because again, if they don't go 10-2, then Brian Kelly's in trouble. I mean, I know the schedule is pretty tough, but you have a good opportunity to prove everybody wrong. Because, like, we've seen the SEC Big Ten. You don't need to necessarily go to the SEC title game or the Big Ten title game to make it to the playoffs. You just have to have the right win total. You just have to be 11-1, 10-2. You got a chance to prove yourself against the Clemson Tigers in week 1, and you have a chance to prove yourself against Florida and Ole Miss in weeks 3 and 5.
Agreed.
Matt's Claire at Ohio State. He's getting out of Purdue. Yep, Emmanuel.
Going to SC from Oregon, going coast to coast.
Oof. That's going to be awkward when they play each other in the week before rivalry week.
Yeah. He's top 20, so he's deciding, I want to get out of USC. I want to go to Oregon with Mr. Lanning and see if my talents will transfer.
Yep. Oof.
Oregon to Cal. Okay.
I wonder if it's going to be like when Dante Moore transferred to UCLA and then decided, you know what? That was way too soon. I'm coming back to Oregon.
And we'll see.
I am William Wallace. I think I got the reference. Yeah, from
I'm William Wallace. Oh, I ain't never seen that movie. I've heard of it, but I ain't never seen it.
Movie.
I'll have to watch it sometime.
Yep. Oh man.
And A Schwab asks, do you think he'll go one and done? What do you think, Jackson? You think he'll go one and done?
Auburn's getting another win. Xavier Chaplin from Virginia Tech.
There you go, Auburn. Auburn's bolstering their roster. Let's see if it translates to wins, though, Jackson. You can bring in all the talent in the world, and we know how that works. So,
oh yeah.
Lee Hunter,
Texas Tech. I mean, I know Texas Tech's winning in the portal, but can't translate to a better season. That's what I want to see.
We'll have to see.
I mean, Joe McClure is a top-notch recruiter, but so far, we have not seen Texas Tech get the seasons that they have wanted or so desire.
We'll have to see.
I mean, because they're 8-5, 7-6, 8-5. What they're hoping for is a replication of the Mike Leach era. I'll be honest, it's not coming back. It is not coming back.
It's not coming back. No.
It's you know what they say. Truth hurts.
Yeah. But hopefully it gets it done.
Luke Drummond from Florida State to Mississippi State.
Oh, gosh. Jason, if you're still here, look away. Jackson, you know how bad you got to be to lose someone to Mississippi State?
I mean, it's not like he was a starter or anything.
But still, Mississippi State? Golly. Oh, well.
Oh man, that would be funny to see like a Bulldogs live show on like the Voice College Football, like where it's like Mississippi State at the Voice College Football. Like that'd be cool.
And Jason O says, "Man, he had a horrible experience at FSU. I get it. Okay, so he's not too sour on it. Okay, That's good to know. Jason all understands.
Like Mississippi State, I don't see a whole lot of media people over at Mississippi State. I mean, there's only like one or two. I mean, like their SB Nation site shut down a few years ago. That's bad.
And Jason also says plus FSU brought in a quarterback. He probably thinks there's a better chance to start it. That is true, yeah. With Castellanos coming in, he's probably like, I better get out while the getting's good.
If you say so, Clint, I'll go with it. But
hey, Dak was really good in college. Like
true.
Dak was really good. Because do you remember, Jackson? Mississippi State was number 1 in the first playoff ranking. You remember that?
Yep.
So I'm going to take that as a compliment. And yes, there is a little bias because he is the Cowboys quarterback, but that's neither here nor there.
Well, he did. He was very well. He did very well at Mississippi State. But I mean, maybe it's just me, but Mississippi State is basically the Detroit Lions of the SEC. And what I mean by that is they get all the bad luck. They always get the crappy end of the stick.
This is true, yes.
Because it's like Mississippi State has something good, it just falls off. I mean, the Mullen era didn't last long. I mean, Mississippi State usually doesn't win the SEC, and when they do, they don't win since. And matter of fact, it was like the year the year that the USA went into World War II. That's bad right there. I mean, that is so bad. Like, you've not won an SEC title since the United States of America went into World War II in Europe and in Asia because of the bombing of Pearl Harbor. Like, that is so bad that your university has. I mean, it's like y'all got some bad luck. It's like they usually don't have anything to do. And when they do, they always get cracked on. I mean, like Mike Leach, it's like that was a short era, and it's like nobody expected that to happen. And like Darrell Royal was there for a couple years in the 50s. He's there a year at Washington, and we see him becoming a freaking legend at Texas. They're like, huh, how's that guy Darrell Royal doing? It's like, nope, he left. Man, it's like Jackie Sherrill did all right there, but I mean, he left after 03. Like,
so Jackson, real fast, not to cut you off, but apparently my quarterback's getting picked on here. I got to stick up for Dak for a second. Listen, Dak is a top 15 quarterback when he plays like it. And I know this isn't the NFL, but I've got to stick up for Dak here a second. I mean, you ought to see what Dak was doing before he ended up getting CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper. Dak had us at 7-4 at one point with Cole Beasley and a cast of wipeouts. And then when we got Amari Cooper, we finished the year 10-6. And listen, I know y'all are doing it just to mess with me, but Dak is not that bad, people. He's not that bad. But go ahead, though, Jackson. Go ahead.
It's not that. It's unfortunately the moronic decision of Jay Jones.
Thank you, Hummus. See, this is why I like Hummus. He's reasonable. And just for that, Hummus, I hope Ohio State wins the next 5 natties for you. I like Hummus. He knows what he's doing.
Everybody loves
and Jay and Dak says Dak's a top. Okay, Jason. Listen, Jason. Listen. Just for that, I hope Florida State goes 0-12.
Well, more like the Cowboys have a top 28 head coach in Schottenheimer. I mean,
yes,
they're gonna get. I don't want to sound negative, but I don't see anything good coming out of the Brian Schottenheimer era. He's more of a yes man. And as a matter of fact,
Okay.
in 2015, when he was there at Georgia, that was the last year of the Mark Richt era. And, he didn't return to Georgia. And, the Colts, he was there when Andrew Luck was not doing so hot because of the injuries,
Mm-hmm.
And
And
I really have no words for this, honestly. And the offense regressed this season for the Cowboys. It's just good grief. I mean,
Clemson.
like the Cowboys are never going to win as long as Jerry Jones is the owner, or at least while he's the GM.
I'll say this, Jackson. To Moose's point, and he says it's not debatable. Yes, Dak has had more bad performances than he has good in the playoffs. I will give you that, Moose. His track record speaks for itself. I won't try to defend him on that, not tonight, but I might on another time.
Oh,
But,
yeah.
but I'll say this, Mr. Jackson. Jackson, are you ready for the next transfer guy? We went down the NFL rabbit hole.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I know the Cowboys are very controversial.
Nothing personal against the Lions or Mississippi State. It's just they both got a lot. Like when they have something good going on, it doesn't end well. Unfortunately, they always get the bad luck, the crappy end of the stick. I mean, it's like watching Everybody Hates Chris, where it's like Chris doesn't is always getting screwed over somehow. He gets in trouble for something that's not his fault, or he doesn't get the girl he wants. He's on time, but he was late because of traffic, but nobody wants to hear it because, oh, well, he's the young man. But
story of our lives.
That is basically the story of the Detroit Lions. Agreed. Yeah, he gets his bike stolen. Like, Chris is always getting bad luck for no reason. That's the Detroit Lions of Mississippi State for you. Isaiah World is going to be very happy because he's leaving Nevada, shaking that trail dust, and leaving for Oregon.
And good for him. Good for him.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
I haven't seen much of him considering he played at Nevada.
Yep. They get the Mississippi State gets the shit end of the stick. So, Noah Thomas transfers to Georgia. Good win there. Patrick Payton. I guess he thinks LSU's gonna be really fun, but again, we'll wait and see. I hope he can bring some magic. I mean, he's pretty good. Zambrano from Illinois State. Oh, he's a hidden gem. Just the same. Oh no, oh man, Hey, if he's got to go anywhere, I'm glad it's Michigan. I'm glad it's not like Auburn, Tennessee, or LSU, or some school that's annoying me lately.
Jackson, real fast. Why did Justice Haynes leave to go to Michigan? What was the deal at Bama? Is he not going to be the starting running back? What's the situation?
I guess he felt like he would be better valued at Michigan. But we'll wait and see what happens. I mean, I'm going to pull for him, no doubt about it, because he's a Bama man. I'm going to always pull for the Bama man. I don't care if they leave Alabama, man. I'm going to pull for him, but when you play against Alabama, I'll pull against you. I mean, we always do that.
And Moose,
I'm not going to do that whole go screw yourself, because it's like when these players are making these decisions, they're not just thinking about themselves. They're thinking about those around them. That's the thing some people tend to forget. It's like we tend to forget that, hey, we got families to provide for. Hey, we got things to take care of. We got responsibilities. It's like these players, that's what they're thinking about.
Mm-hmm. And Moose, he's excited about Haynes coming to Michigan. I mean, I didn't watch like Jackson Wood and A. Schwab is excited for him as well. So Jackson, the Michigan people, they're looking forward to adding Haynes to the running back room. I mean, I'll say this, Jackson. From what I saw of him, I think he's good, but he's got a lot to learn. I
There we
think
go.
there's moments that he shines, and then there's moments that he's like, and which they could have been the scheme too, not all him. But he'll do good at Michigan because Michigan's a run heavy offense. He'll get plenty of touches there. Yes, thunder and lightning. Yes, maybe that's what it was. Maybe he said, "Okay, let me go pair with Marshall, and I won't have to do as much." That could be the case too. But
There you go. Will Heat at Clemson. Clemson's finally getting into the portal. All right. All right.
you go, Clemson.
There you go. You know, maybe it's just me, but like Clemson adjusting to the transfer portal feels similar to Alabama in 1971. Yeah, because like 1967 through 70, Alabama was disappointing everybody because they weren't having a run like they were from 1961 to 1966, but they were dominating the Tennessee Volunteers, Auburn Tigers, running the show in the SEC, winning those natties. They realized Bear Bryant was like, you know what? I got to change up my offense and I got to change up my schemes. My way's not
Mm-hmm.
working, so I'm going to try a new way. Guess what? The new way worked for the 70s. We ruled the 70s with an iron fist. I'm saying Clemson. Now, I'm not saying they're going to be like running and getting natties or all that, but I mean, they keep adjusting to the portal. And I'm not saying they have to do the portal all the time, but I'm saying keep doing what you're doing, but also get involved in the portal as well. Get out of that comfort zone. And when you do, you'll dominate the ACC. That's my advice to
Mm-hmm.
Dabo Swinney.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Kevin Coleman. Nice to see his name.
Yep, Mississippi State, the Bazoo. CJ Downs.
CJ Dan.
Oh, nice addition. Rocco's Modern Life at either Nebraska or Indiana. Well, it's likely he's going to the Nebraska Cornhuskers.
We'll have to see.
Malik Murphy at
Malik-
Oregon State.
I mean, Clint Moses is here. Clint, what do you think of this move? Me personally, go for it, Jackson.
I really hope Oregon State can have a really good season in 2025. And I hope Malik Murphy can have a really good season. But I really don't know how long either one of those are going to last.
Like Jackson, he's a good mobile quarterback, but sometimes is too much of a statue, and he does make bad decisions sometimes. So, I mean, I like him, but some people are sour on him. I think he'll do good for Mike for Bray at Oregon State. I think he's a top 30 quarterback.
Oh, agreed. Agreed.
So we'll have to see what's in store for him, but I like it.
Luke Pettenbach. There we go.
Going to Florida State and not another nice pickup.
Yep, get some protection for Castellanos. Hardy at Mizzou. Mensa. All right. That's a win for Duke. Wisconsin getting a win, getting a little tight end.
Mm-hmm.
Eric Rivers going down the river to Georgia Tech.
Jackson Arnold transferring to oh boy. You want to take a stab at this one, Jackson? I'll let you.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't know if that's gonna result in a 10-win season, because if that's what they're thinking, it's, oh yay, we got Jackson Arnold. We're gonna win the SC. We're gonna get 10-win seasons. We're gonna rule the roost as the SEC. But yeah, no.
Yeah, Jackson. Auburn. I hope you know what you signed up for.
I'm gonna be honest. You got Hugh Freeze, okay? You give him time. You want to win. You give your coach time. And stop doing that. Oh, I'm gonna fire my coach because they slipped on a freaking banana peel, or they broke a tooth, or broke a nail. It's like, no, don't do that. Don't do that. I mean, that's not why they fire coach, but y'all get my expressions.
Here's the thing, Jackson. With Jackson Arnold, real fast, he was very inconsistent. The best game he had was against you guys,
I know, right?
and then he turned back into a pumpkin. So, if Auburn thinks they hit the jackpot, good luck. If they think that one game is enough to determine, oh, we're going to win 9-10 games, we're finally going to beat Bama, we're going to make the playoffs. Think again, Auburn.
There we go. And Luke Haas transfers from Arkansas to Ole Miss.
I mean, good move.
We'll wait and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
We will definitely wait and see. But a good win for the Rebels. As their Panther quick and leather tough in the portal.
Mm-hmm.
LSU getting another win in the portal. Oh, Kate Swan from LSU. Oh, Walmart man. Nice. Edge rusher. Nice receiver from Nebraska from California. Aaron Nolan to South Carolina. We're going to see how that works out. Now, I mean, they're not going to give him the starting job right away, but I'm thinking it's going to be this more like for 2026 and beyond.
And A-Schwab I'm surprised Brian Kelly could still recruit after the nightmare season. Well, I'll say this. I think a lot of it's because he's at LSU and they've got money. So it's not so much the season he had, it's the brand name. LSU, you can be like Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, all of them. And we're going to win natties together. So it's kind of like Alabama. Like if Alabama goes 8-4 next year, they'll still get players because they're Alabama. But I am curious, though, Aaron Nolan, for Hummus and our Buckeyes fans in the chat, what do you think of this move? Are y'all happy Aaron Nolan's gone? You think he'll do good at South Carolina? Let us know.
Miller Moss is at Louisville.
Yes. I've got a lot to say, Jackson, but I want you to give your thoughts on it first.
All right. I want to see if it results in a 10-win season for Louisville, although I do feel like a fresh start is needed for both teams.
So here's what I'll say, Jackson. I'm excited for Miller Moss at Louisville. When it was announced that we got him in the transfer portal, that he chose us over like 3 different teams. I believe he chose us over Georgia. I think it was Georgia. And I think he's going to fit Jeff Brom's scheme really well because we're a heavy run team. Isaac Brown, he's a sophomore. He's in his second year at Louisville. He's going to run the rock. I mean, we've got the tight ends and receivers to complement Moss. It's going to be heavy play action. It's going to be an offense that complements him and his abilities and his skills. And Jeff Brom is a quarterback whisperer. Look what he did for Plummer. Look what he did for Tyler Shuck. Look what he did for Harrison Bailey in the bowl game. Got him a spot at Tennessee. So I'm really looking forward to what Miller Moss is going to bring to the table. I like the direction that we're going. And Jeff Braun, I'm really liking him as head coach. And it's something I'm looking forward to, too, because we have a very talented team. And I think we could be a serious contender to win the ACC again. Now, losing Gelati and Riley on the back end, I'd like to see how we'll replace them in the offseason, how we recover from that, because those are two vital pieces on our defensive side. But we'll see how that goes, though. But I think the future's bright at Louisville. I like Miller Moss in the portal. I like what Louisville's done, and we're only getting better.
There you go. How'd you like the little solo layout, man?
I mean, I appreciate it, but I'm not the star of the show. You are, good buddy. But
I appreciate it, though. But I mean, still, though, I mean, we're both doing this show. So,
I'll say this, though, Jackson. I mean, I like it. Josh Thomas to LSU. Okay.
I mean, they need protection.
Daniel King to North Carolina from Troy.
Oh, there you go. Alex Harkey for Oregon. Charles Brantley for Miami. Fluff brought Bothwell at Mississippi State.
Try saying that name. Holy crap. Keyshawn Silver.
I love
4-star. Going to Kentucky.
Oh,
okay.
Connor. Man, Miami loves Washington State, don't they?
Yeah. Ain't that the truth, Jack?
Chubby Collins.
What do you think of that move, Jackson? From Florida, you like it?
I love it. Let's get at it.
I mean, what do you think, Jackson? He's an edge rusher. Was that one of your all's weaker spots? Go into it a little bit.
We need to make sure our defense is looking good for 2025. We got a chance to make things right. That's all I could say about our defense.
I mean, is he going to be a game changer, Jackson?
Yes.
There you go. Jackson's solo moment.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's like, Washington Parker. Poor Washington State, Jackson. They're just getting plucked, aren't they?
Well, I mean, that whole university is getting plucked. I mean, good grief.
I mean, holy crap.
Man,
well,
LSU's loving those Virginia Tech guys, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
And Stribling from Oregon State goes to Ole Miss. Yeah, he's not going to – Ole Miss not going to end that SEC title drought. I can promise you that.
Lane Kiffin likes his wide receivers. I've noticed that out of the portal. There's been quite a few that we scrolled through, and he's been heavy on them. Connor Wagman to Houston. Okay. What do you think of that move, Jackson?
Well, I mean, Houston was looking like crap to start off 2024, but then they almost got to – they were getting close to bowl eligibility, but then that losing streak in November, the last 3 games didn't do so hot. But, I mean, 2025, maybe some magic can happen. I mean, their non-conference schedule is easy, and sometime next week or the week after next, we're going to see what the full schedule for the Big 12 looks like. I mean, we know who's playing who in the Big 12. We just don't know when.
I mean, I'll say this. I mean, Connor Wagman. I mean, Houston, I think they're a bowl team. I think Willie Fritz can get him to a bowl team. Connor Wagman's not going to do anything to mess it up. So,
Quentin Joyner.
And A. Schwab says he's not a bad QB, but at the same time, he hasn't done nothing yet. Anything? True. I mean, he did get replaced, so.
Oh, there we go. Isaiah Horton from Miami to Bama. Let's go. We need playmakers to help out Ryan Williams, man.
Now, let me ask you something, Jackson. I mean, what do you like this move? Like, you like that they went with Horton?
Yep, I like old Horton. And I like our
Okay.
guy Bernard and Williams. I mean, we gotta get all the help we can get everywhere. I mean, we gotta help our
That's
new
true.
quarterback. And but what we really need to do is get a little more reliant on our running game. That's all we have to.
I like it.
There we go.
Like you
Let's
said,
go. Horton,
you
here's
need
the.
someone.
There we go.
Go for it.
Horton, here's the Tide calling for him.
You definitely need someone opposite of Ryan Williams because if they bracket him, whoever your quarterback will be, whether it's Simpson or Russell, they definitely need another extra. Yeah,
How you feeling
our
about this
offensive.
loss?
Uh, he's a 4-star. He was one of our better ones, Jackson, and I feel like he had some injuries that kind of held him back, and then we ended up replacing him, and we kind of changed our rotation. So he never got back in. And our offensive line at times was one of our weak points, but it was also one of our strong points as well. So I'm sad that he's leaving because we do need the depth, but I hope he does well at Virginia. Especially Virginia, they need to protect their quarterback because that was one of their big issues.
Yeah. Trey Walls to Ole Miss. That's a good addition.
Mm-hmm.
Malachi Field from Notre Dame. Let's go. David
In Notre
Blake,
Dame,
the defensive lineman from Louisiana Tech, a hidden gem.
and Jason O says Horton's ex-Miami teammates had a lot of nice things to say about him when he announced to Bama. That says a lot about his character that his old teammates wish him well somewhere else. Yes.
Now I'm really
Like,
excited to see what Horton brings more than ever.
yes. A lot of people forget it's all about your character. If your character and you're in high integrity and people love you, it makes it even all that much more better.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll see what he brings to Bama. I'm looking forward to watching him.
South Carolina getting a hidden gem, it looks like. Auburn getting a hidden gem. Caleb Odom to Ole Miss. Well, I mean, good luck to you. We're pulling for you.
I mean, he's another wide receiver, Jackson. Now, Jackson, was he one of your all's receivers that never seen much time on the field?
Yeah, I'm afraid so.
I got you.
Pettis at Florida State. Oh, wow.
O-line.
Kendall
Safety.
Daniels from Oklahoma State to Oklahoma. I mean, they said now Oklahoma State said they don't care about playing Oklahoma anymore because Oklahoma showed us. But they didn't say it wasn't on in the recruiting battles and the portal battles.
Oh, Jackson, I'm sure that's one of them things. It's like they look at that stuff. Ooh, Squirrel White. Now at wide receiver, Jackson. I watched a few Tennessee games this year. I like Squirrel White. Jason, what do you think of Squirrel White to Florida State? Do you like it? What do you think?
Oh, there we go.
Jackson, what do you think of him? Because obviously y'all played Tennessee. I mean, do you like Squirrel White? Do you think he could be a game changer?
I'm all right with him. I just wish he transferred to Bama, though, but that's okay. I mean, that's all right. We got all the receivers we need. You can have him Florida State.
Well, he's the 85 ranked player, so.
Jakeem Jackson,
Javon.
Florida to LSU. Oh, this is a good steal right there. The Ohio State
CJ Don.
Buckeyes, C.J. Donaldson.
Yes.
I agree, Snow.
Says we'll have to rinse that Tennessee stank off him, but I hope he does well.
Oh, he will.
You know what, Jackson? I even have to laugh.
Just don't act like a dick on like how Tennessee acted against Ohio State in the playoffs. And then you're good to go.
Ugh. But yes, CJ Donaldson to Ohio State. Like you said, Jackson, this may be the steal of the portal.
Oh, there you go. Theron Jackson to Oregon. Thaddeus Ditson to North Carolina. Bear Alexander to Oregon. I'm curious to see how that'll work out.
I am too, because he's transferred quite a bit. He was from Georgia to USC and now to Oregon. And Oregon on the defensive line could definitely use another big beefy guy on the line. So hopefully Bear Alexander, this works out for him.
Yeah.
Ooh. What about this, Jackson? You lost
Colorado needs defense.
Jackson, you lost a portal guy to prime time. What you think about that?
Not too crazy about, but that's the cost of doing business.
I mean, was he more of a death piece, Jackson, or what was he to y'all?
We saw him a little bit, but I'm just curious to see what he's going to do at Colorado. I mean, I think he's going to do very well.
Mm-hmm. And then this next one here, Jackson, this one's kind of mind-boggling because we might have a quarterback battle in Colorado. Keaton Salters. Keaton Salters. But then you got Julian Lewis, who committed to Colorado this past year. So I'm kind of curious to see what they'll do at quarterback. If they'll go with Juju Lewis or if they'll go with Salters out of Liberty.
Well, I think Colorado is wanting to see if they can build on that momentum for 2025.
God bless them. I hope they do.
And the fact of the matter is, Deion Sanders not getting off of the Cowboy shot. I mean, let's be honest, he's not going to the Saints. So that's not happening. So what's going to happen is you're really going to see Colorado make magic for 2025. I mean, that's like the only team in the Big 12 that we can say that will stably do what that will be supposedly doing what they're supposed to do.
Agreed, Jason O. Going from Liberty to Colorado is a wild transfer culturally. Agreed.
Yeah.
But I wish him nothing but the best, but he's going to a situation where he may not win the quarterback starting job, but
well, we're definitely going to see what's going to happen in the quarterback position.
UCLA getting them a good receiver?
They're going to need a whole lot more than a receiver to fit that old place. Elijah Pritchett to Bama. Sad to see Bama, but Nebraska got to win. You got a winner in Elijah Pritchett. Do right by this
Jackson, you're losing a lot of players.
Well,
here we go.
That's because we have been. We've been losing a lot of key guys to the portal.
Cam Calhoun, Utah to Bama. Jackson, I know you've watched a little bit of Utah. Calhoun's, he's a good corner.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he would have been nice to pair with Downs if y'all would have been able to keep Downs. Because y'all do need some corner help. Because that was one of your weaknesses, Jackson. If you think about it, that was one of your biggest, weaknesses is y'all couldn't cover nobody.
Yeah. That's what Johnny and I were talking about the other day. We need some CBs on defense.
And some safeties. Because Malachi Moore is gone, correct? He's gone to the draft, correct?
Oh, yeah. Oh, Malachi Moore's not even playing in the Senior Bowl. Because he's probably out flopping around throwing a fit. But
Well, that's the thing too, Jackson. He was what was held that defense together, what made him look decent. Now that he's gone, Calhoun's a nice pickup. I like it. I like Jackson. You'll be pleased with what you get in return with him.
Oh yeah. Poiser, hidden gem from Jacksonville State. Oof, good grief. Trotter, Hill Green. I mean,
Ooh,
that's pretty good.
linebacker from Colorado. What you think?
Sounds good to me. Man,
Eh,
are we finding any hidden gems on this? Like Marvin Jones
not
Jr. looks pretty good.
not
God,
yet.
good Lord. Good luck at K
Ooh,
State, Ross. Kobe Prince for
ooh.
Baylor. Dave
That's
Aranda,
that
he needs playmakers.
Jackson. I always thought he was going to be a really good receiver for Bama. What happened?
Guess
What
they
caused him
felt
to leave?
not much of a place for him, I guess. That's what he felt.
Because I liked Prentice Jackson. I thought he would have been good for y'all to pair as like a slot guy.
Yep.
Oh well, your all's loss is Kansas State's win.
Baylor's win.
Baylor's wins. Thank you. My apologies. Baylor's win.
Jalen Brown to South Carolina. Darrell Robinson from UConn to Auburn. That's a win. Oh, that's really
Well,
going to get Oklahoma and Nebraska heated up.
here we go.
Chat,
Yeah, I think.
let us know if there's any. Well, Clint Mose is not too impressed because he's like a bunch of money hungry ring chasers. Oh,
I'll
man.
say this, and even Moose chimes in and says Calhoun is a solid cornerback. He played at Michigan before Utah.
Yep.
Like I like Calhoun. I do. I think he's really good. But
Oh, there he is.
there, Thomas Castellano, he's 157th. Whew, he's down there a little
My
bit.
God, this young man is. He's impressive. It's like we talked about a little while ago tonight. He is very impressive. It's just too.
Yes,
It was too bad that he left Boston College but oh well, it is what it is. He's gonna be happier at Florida State anyhow. I mean, Florida State needs a QB like a baby needs milk. He needs a place to win, and he needs to be relevant. He wasn't really
he's
getting
a
much.
not good job, Jackson. He's a gutty son of a gun. He can stand in and take hits with the best of them.
Oh. But I mean, when you're a quarterback, nobody's really talking about you at Boston College, unfortunately. But if you're upset in Florida State or Clemson, but that's it. But when you're at the
True.
big dogs, everybody talks about you.
Preach it, brother. Preach it.
Dampier for the win at Utah. I mean,
Should be good.
yeah. Good God.
Shoot, now we're really getting into the.
Damon
Ooh.
Payne. That's a huge win for Michigan.
I mean, Jackson's sad to see another one go, but Bama losing another one.
At least we're not losing any of them to Auburn, Tennessee, and LSU, or a team that's irritating me lately.
Bo Pelini?
I said a team that's irritating me lately.
No, I saw Bo Pelini go by, the Penn State quarterback. Drew Hour's backup.
Oh, Bo Bula.
Bula.
I was gonna say Bo Pelini. It's like he's a little too old to be playing football. Like his knee will ricochet off if he breaks it. Good grief.
I hope he does good at Missouri.
I hope so too.
But carry on. Oh my gosh.
Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. What is going on
Yeah.
with Rashada?
Yes, and Moose even says that's how I am too, Jackson. LOL. If we're gonna lose town, I'd rather they go outside of our conference. I'm with you on that too, Moose, and you too, Jackson. If we lose anybody, can they go somewhere else?
I just don't want. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to lose talented players to our rivals at the very least, or at least a team that's like irritate me for the week or the month or the year.
Like us losing the old lineman Mills to Virginia. I'm kind of upset about that. He went to Virginia. I'd rather he go to Alabama or something where we might not have to play him. But no, go to Virginia. Yeah. Oh well.
Hey, I mean, if we're gonna lose guys, we might as well lose them to Notre Dame. I mean,
Jackson, but that's a corner that you're losing, and that's one of your all's biggest positional needs.
I know it. I mean, I don't like it, but it's like better Notre Dame than Tennessee.
This is true. Or LSU or A&M.
Or Auburn. Hey, J. Hill Hurley, do me a solid, Hurley. Go beat the living crap out of Missouri in week 2.
Yeah, Jackson, he's a safety leaving y'all. That's another positional need y'all need to track in. You're just losing your biggest needs left and right there, Jack.
Oh, we got this guy, this young man from A&M. Oh, lineman. Hey, we need some protection.
True. Brady Norton.
Cal Poly.
Going to Michigan. See, we're getting into 2. Yep. Bama got hit hard in the portal. Yes. Jackson would agree with that.
Farouk, that's not automatically going to create a 10-win season for Maryland, but oh well for them. It's their life. D.D. Holmes. Good God.
Good grief, Shamati, child. We're getting in the weeds now.
Oh, this kid is hell. He is complete and total hell. Like
I don't even want to talk about him.
Oh, he's a demon. He's a freaking demon for the way he left UNLV and the spot they were in. He's a demon. Like kid.
Ooh.
That was demon. Like Matthew Slocum is demon spawn.
King Mac Jackson transferring out of Bama to Penn State. Another safety leaving. What is it with y'all? With corners and safeties just leaving y'all left and right. What the heck?
Oof, good grief.
Clint Moses is getting closer to my kind of rankings. Real diamonds in the rough. This is true. Billy Edwards Jr. Jackson, what do you think? Is he going to do any better at Wisconsin?
We'll see. Oh my God! You lost your tight end to BYU.
Oh gosh. Well, Michigan with a steal from Indiana. Donovan McCulley.
There you go.
Nothing too hard just yet. We're getting into the Alabama losing. Bama got hit hard. Like they're getting hit hard, Jackson. You're losing people to Virginia. What the fluff? What the fluff, Jackson? To Virginia? Virginia, Jackson. Are we really doing that? Bama's losing transfer portal battles to Virginia.
It's like that fat warden. It's like the fat warden on Cool Hand Luke said, what we got here is failure to communicate.
Oh my gosh. And Moose says Macaulay is a dog. He was highly underused at IU. Yes. I'll say this. Like, me and Jackson could keep going and going and going. But I'll say this. The transfer portal, it's crazy. It's nuts. I'll say this. Jackson, how you feeling about the state of Alabama right now? Good, bad, indifferent? Before we head out for the night.
We're fine. But I don't want this to be a regular occurrence for Alabama. I do think we should utilize the portal a little more.
Mm-hmm. And as for Louisville, I like what we're doing. Obviously, we've lost some key pieces, but we've also gained some big ones in there. I like what we're doing. I think we're going to be a contender in the ACC, I think. But speaking of Alabama, though, Jackson, if people want to hear more about the recruiting trail or the transfer portal updates, there's only one place to find all of that information. And the best way possible to find it is with you, Jackson, Johnny Burks, and Jeffrey from When We Talk Sports, the three best Bama peoples I know.
Well, we got another guy. We got another guy doing the Alabama channel as well. Matter of fact, got his first video today on Alabama at The Voice College Football, and his name, hold on, Manny Wilson. And he did a video where he was grading Kalen DeBoer's first season, and he talked about Ryan Grubb possibly returning to Alabama. Matter of fact, college football as an assistant coach in general. But I'll say this. We've got some magic cooking on Alabama with The Voice College Football. Me, Johnny, Jeffrey, and Manny, we're making sure we got all the ingredients cooking for you on Alabama at The Voice of College Football. And this week's show, we went over the returning players for 2025, the top returning players, the recruiting updates, and much more. And before I tell you about what I'm doing on my other stuff, before Austin tells you what he's doing, Moose asked me, what are my feelings on DeBoer? Do I think he's the right man for the job, or am I having doubts? I think he's the right man. Honestly, I do. I'm not going to let myself judge somebody based off of one season. I don't like to throw the baby out with the bathwater. I really don't. But if he's having 9-3 seasons for 2 more years, then there's a problem. If he's having that for 2025, 2026, it's an issue. Oh, thanks, Moose. And of course, got some magic.
There goes the baby.
Yep. Well, anyway, so not only am I doing some magic with Austin on Sports Talk with Austin, I'm also doing some magic with Will and D for the buzzer beater. Right here on Jackson Johnson 979, and I'm 105 subs away from the magic number 500. And then we can really get some magic cooking when we get 500 subs, when we get to 1,000 subs. I mean, my God, we're really going to make some magic on this channel. And for more updates on what I'm doing on Alabama with The Voice of College Football and on the Jacksonian, and by the way, I do have an upcoming episode. I mean, it's been postponed for a little bit because, like, my guest from, the Patriots side of the aisle, he's been sick as a puppy dog, but he should be feeling better now. But I'm just like, I'm gonna see what's up with him, see how he's feeling, all that, and we'll be able to plan an episode. It's like we got sidetracked, but we'll be all right. I mean, the bad weather in January has just screwed everyone, not just us down south, but up north, everywhere in this country. Good grief! I mean, it's like there's snow in Florida. Now I've seen everything. Yep. Snow in Florida.
Yes.
But, you can. But for more updates on what I'm doing on the Jackson, on Alabama with The Voice College Football, or if you want to see me calling the Paul Feinbaum show, Check me out on Jackson VOCFB on @/Twitter and on Instagram, Feds Jats543-908. But if you don't like Twitter, Instagram, or Threads for some reason, no problem. I got something planned out. Got a little something on Blue Sky on Jackson Johnson 997, where I've got some magic cooking there as well. But don't worry though, I've got other social media accounts just waiting to make some magic on. So it's like I'm here, I'm there, I'm everywhere. I'm catching them all like I'm Ash Ketchum from Pokemon. But Austin, you got magic cooking. What have you got going on Sports Talk with Austin this week?
So what I've got going on this week, of course, is I've got two interviews coming up. One with a couple interviews coming up, and of course, my show's here at Jackson, which me and Jackson, we are going to do a Super Bowl hangout. After the game where people could call in if they want. We're going to talk about the Chiefs Eagles, the Super Bowl nobody wanted. And me and Jackson, we're going to do little other off-season stuff together. We're going to do top 10 games of the year. We might do power rankings. You never know with us. We're going to be cooking that off-season magic. We're going to be making that stew. Got to stir it up. Put the meat in, the potatoes, the carrots. Got to put that broth in. Me and Jackson are going to keep you covered all off-season. Who knows? We may even go over the schedules for the ACC and Big 12 while we're at it. You never know. But we're going to keep you covered this offseason. But one thing we can guarantee is this is not the last time you're going to see us this year. For sure. And you can follow me on Twitter as well, where I talk a little bit of everything about the Denver Nuggets, talk a little wrestling, and I talk, of course, about the Cowboys and Louisville. I mean, a lot of great stuff coming. Interviews. Me and Jackson will be back again. Before you know it, we've got shows already planned and on the waiting for y'all. We have got you covered. Just when you think you have the answers, me and Jackson just keep asking the questions.
There we go. I'll tell you this, the month of February, you're really going to see some magic. I can tell you right now.
Yes, it never stops around here. Me and Jackson, we will not sleep until you are satisfied with content. And if we got to be up till 8 a.m. in the morning, we will do it. If we got to be up till 5 a.m. in the morning, we will do it for you.
Well, there we go. We'll make sure of that. And with that being said, we wish you all a good night and sleep well. Stay safe, stay warm. It's cold out. Like, comment, subscribe, click on the notification bell so you never miss another video like forever. And we will see you next time. And roll Tide.
Go Cards.